In 1540 AD, the world witnesses the birth of an institution unlike anything Christianity had ever produced, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. Approved by Pope Paul III through Regimini militantis Ecclesiae, and shaped by the iron discipline of Ignatius of Loyola, the Jesuits are not simply another monastic order. They are the strategic, intellectual, psychological, and doctrinal army of the papacy. If 1462 unleashed autonomous knowledge from the abyss, then 1540 is the moment when the Church sends out its response, the Locusts of Revelation 9 taking organized, disciplined form. For nearly a millennium, the Church relied on philosophical synthesis and ecclesiastical courts. By 1462, that system breaks. Petrarch has cracked open the ancient world. Ficino's Academy has resurrected the original Aristotle, autonomous, pre-Christian. Humanists refine philology into a scientific tool. Scholars begin analyzing scripture through language, history, and method rather than through dogmatic filters. The medieval theological cosmos begins to collapse intellectually. Luther's challenge in 1517 is not merely moral or spiritual, it is structural. He rejects scholasticism, the Aristotelian Thomistic synthesis, and the Alexandrian heritage that supported Rome for 1,000 years. Suddenly, the Church faces multiple fronts at once: philology, humanism, logic, critique, printing, and popular access to scripture. Rome understands that brute force cannot defeat ideas. The Inquisition can punish bodies, but it cannot stop autonomous thought. Burning books only proves that books are dangerous. Killing dissenters only multiplies their influence. For the first time since the rise of the papacy, the Church encounters a threat that cannot be suppressed by decree, a population thinking without permission. The Jesuits are the papacy's answer to this crisis, a counterstrike crafted with precision. Ignatius of Loyola designs the Society of Jesus with military clarity, absolute obedience to the Pope, a fourth vow that binds the order directly to Rome, and a structure modeled not on monastic withdrawal, but on disciplined infiltration. While earlier orders served the Church through charity, asceticism, or contemplation, the Jesuits serve through strategy. They are trained as educators, rhetoricians, diplomats, confessors, and psychological guides. Their battleground is the human mind. They establish schools, colleges, and universities across Europe. They train the sons of princes, nobles, and future rulers. They become spiritual directors to kings, advisors to courts, confessors to the elite. In every region they enter, they reshape the intellectual framework of society. They do not silence the reformers by violence. They out-argue them, out-teach them, and outmaneuver them. The Jesuit method is simple. Do not fight the rise of autonomous knowledge, colonize it. This is why they embody the Locusts of Revelation 9. They do not kill, they torment. They sting through argument, rhetoric, spiritual discipline, and strategic persuasion. Their goal is not to eliminate the new intellectual forces, but to redirect them toward loyalty to Rome. Under their leadership, Catholicism reinvents itself as an interpretive empire, one that can survive the modern world by controlling the very tools that threatened it. Jesuit theology sharpens the weapons the Church already possesses. Confession becomes a system of surveillance, a way to map the inner life of individuals and entire societies. Obedience becomes identity. The Jesuit ethos trains the will to bend, not to question. Spiritual exercises become psychological conditioning, designed to reshape desire, conscience, and loyalty. For nearly 150 years, 1540 to 1690, the Jesuits relied on one dominant weapon, the fear of purgatory, the exact sting of the Locusts. They turned a theological concept into a system of fear, discipline, and inner torment. They turned a theological concept into a system of fear, discipline, and inner torment. Scripture is no longer simply read. It is interpreted through the authority of Rome, refined through rhetoric, disciplined through philosophy, and protected through strategic ambiguity. The Jesuits restore the dominance of Greek philosophical categories inside Christianity, but now through education rather than councils. They revive the Alexandrian model, allegory, hierarchy, universal theology, yet combine it with modern method, grammar, philology, dialectic, scholarship. They merge ancient philosophy with modern rationality to construct a renewed, formidable intellectual empire. In their hands, philosophy becomes a weapon, not an inquiry. A crucial part of Jesuit strategy appears in their reinterpretation of biblical prophecy. The reformers of the 1500s used the historicist reading of Daniel and Revelation, identifying the papacy itself as the little horn, the man of sin, and the power that dominates the 1260-year timeline. This interpretation was devastating because it unified scripture, history, and public perception against Rome. The Jesuits responded with a dual counter-theory, Preterism, developed by Luis de Alcazar, which pushed prophetic fulfillment back into the ancient past so that none of it referred to the papacy, and Futurism, advanced by Francisco Ribera, which pushed fulfillment entirely into the distant future so that none of it applied to the present church. These two systems dismantled the historicist lens and protected Rome by scattering prophecy across time. What had once exposed the system now became a battlefield of competing timelines, all engineered to remove the papacy from the prophetic center. And so the papacy transitions from medieval force to modern strategy. If the Inquisition represented coercive power, the Jesuits represent psychological power. If medieval councils produced dogma, Jesuit schools produce worldview. If earlier ages controlled behavior, the Jesuits control imagination and meaning. Their influence becomes global. In Europe, they shape Catholic universities for centuries. In Asia and the Americas, they become missionaries, linguists, and cultural negotiators, inserting Roman categories into entirely new civilizations. In politics, they influence courts, treaties, and royal successions. In theology, they become the intellectual backbone of the Counter-Reformation, refining doctrine during the Council of Trent and defending it against Protestant critique. In philosophy, they protect the Church's authority by absorbing modern reasoning into controlled frameworks. Everything after 1540 bears their imprint: the Catholic Reformation, global missionary expansion, Baroque spirituality, the modern Catholic intellectual tradition, the shaping of elite education, and the durability of Rome's doctrinal system. The Jesuits transform the papacy into a modern power capable of navigating a world where knowledge, not kingship, determines authority. Through them, the Church evolves from a medieval guardian of doctrine into an empire of interpretation. Year 1540 AD is not simply the founding of an order. It is the hinge on which the future turns, the moment when the Church stops defending the past and begins engineering the modern world. And from here, the story moves toward the next upheaval, the French Revolution, the moment when the beast from the abyss itself rises to the surface.